If you're feeling like I feel, there's no antidote. The President of the United States of America has let it be known that tariffs are good. He doubles down and let America know that this is what's best for America. Me, I'm a taxpaying man. I own stock. I have other investments. All around the country, I have investments, foreign and domestic. And one thing I have noticed, and I notice when someone is being dishonest, and when they're being dishonest to the American people. And I want to apologize to the American people because you don't deserve this. We all don't deserve what's happening to us right now. Now, you might be saying to yourself, why you? Why this time? Why now? Anybody could have done any different thing. Why this? Why is Trump so confident when the stock markets are saying something that is different? Why is that the case? Why is that the narrative? Um, Very good question. Here's what we've learned. We told you yesterday why tariffs are not good for you and why they were bad. But now let's tell you the other side of the coin, right? Trump basically says, as the stock market continues to plummet, that don't worry about these 100-day tariffs. Don't worry about it. We're going to be okay. We got $6 to $7 trillion coming into this country, basically built off of automotive industry and people promising things in the AI tech world. So the AI chip world is what they're banking on for their success. Now, one thing that we seen, one thing that we've noticed, in other words, in said scenario, is that when people do things that are customly different from everything that you've seen in society, and you haven't seen it in 100 years, there's a reason for concern. Yes, well, the consumers are going to be the ones that get hammered by this over and over again. And they believe that the escalations in this is by far from Costco to China shipping. Um, Everyone see this as a big mistake. But let's say you bring in that 6 to 7 billion guaranteed. The stock market is already down about 6 trillion already. And this, dealing with national affairs, dealing with international issues, people are more scared than any time ever in life. And when Americans are scared, do you know what they do? They try to protect their money by taking it out of stocks. They're scared. Okay, now how does this affect the average consumer? Let's say, and this is what Trump and the Republicans have not paid attention to. They're saying, okay, we're going to put that money back, and boom, the country's going to be soaring again. Okay, let's say all these tariffs work, right? Now, let's break it down to the American people, the average people that cannot follow any of this. The S&P 500 don't even matter to them. What happened? What have you, right? What are you going to be looking at now? Well, it's like this. Say I come to your school, you're at a school, right? And you go to your classroom and you bully all of those kids and say, hey, you guys got to give me 30 cents every day. When you come in here every day, I better get 30 cents. Right? And they don't want to pay it to you, but they fear that you're going to hurt them if you don't. So you pay it to them. And then they don't hurt you. They say, all right, this is business. What have you just done to them? What have you just done to those people that you just got the tariffs from? You look at it as good business and fair trade, and hey, this is the way it should be. They're going to resent and hate you. They're not going to like you. And it's not about the like. You're damaging future business relationships when it is pertains to something like somebody might be missing that's visiting that country, and you have to, in goodwill, hopefully they catch the person or save them and return them back safely to your country. They're not going to have those type of wanting to do you a favor after you've done this. So what happens is you damage good relationships with other countries, and you create insurgents. You create all of this scarcity, especially with the poor countries. So this is going to create more war, more conflict. Now, people who got iPhones, you really should be worried, because not only they're going to want this done, stopped immediately, Apple is going to be taking a hit. As I told you, they're right now at 9%. They're looking at a 10% loss, which means, let's say they eat it for the first month, right? And they want to keep the cost low so it doesn't affect their consumers. To to protect themselves from, U.S. China war, they moved some of their products to Vietnam, which is not considered part of China's regime, and they moved it to Indonesia. So Apple has companies in Indonesia and they have it in Vietnam, so that everything goes through, right? Supplier, business, consumer. That's how it works. Those three, the holy trinity of the tariff: the supplier, the business, consumer. That's how it works. So everyone pays. So what Trump told you is not true. Everybody's going to have to pay. Now, why do I sit here and basically on my couch tell you about these issues that's going to happen here as this escalates? China can hold out forever. They can continue to hold out. Now, what happens if this doesn't work? The domino effect, because you have to bring that money back, the 6-7 trillion that is promised to be coming back to the country that you're saying, oh, we're in negotiations for. And that's happening. Don't worry about it. We already got that, that's going to come in. So don't worry. We're going to be flourishing again, and the stock markets are going to be booming. So, of course, you're going to say that because you don't want anyone to sell the stock. Like, don't sell your stock, don't sell your stock, don't sell your stock. Well, some people are at a point of no return. Some people have lost 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 out of their 401k alone. So if you're losing that kind of money in your 401k, you're going to be looking at things a little bit differently than how the average person is looking at it. Trust me. And then on top of it, you're going to look at, okay, the scales and say, okay, well, the scales are a little unbalanced. You're like, well, what's unbalanced about the scales? Well, I was just thinking, if we do it this way, we're really hurting ourselves. Okay. So Trump decides to slap 104% tariffs on China as of today. Or, well, 10 hours ago. So, what does that really mean now? You know, when he put out this report and said, this is the tariffs and this is what we're going to do. It looked stupid when it was put together and said, oh, goodness, the penguins better get jobs. So the extra 4% was to add some salt to the wound of China. But what you're going to do is force the world to try to work without America. And once they find out that some of them realize that, oh, we can work without America, that's going to be a nightmare for the United States, as China is working on a railing system that they don't have to use the United States for. They can get their goods elsewhere without using the transportation and the services and courier service of the United States, which is going to make it even harder on the country. So everybody buying iPhones and have iPhones. Well, look, hopefully you don't need any supplies, because now things are not going to be going the way you think, especially when it comes to securities. So you're going to be spending an extra $104 plus for toys. Yeah, well, before this, you had tariffs. A toy from China would cost like $10. Now the same toy that you buy that's $10 are going to be $20.40, right? Now you buy something that's a little higher, you're going to be paying an upcharge, right? So the higher you buy something, the more it's going to go up in value. And because of the internet, it's putting an end to a lot of wholesale businesses. Like you look at places like Target or like the toy store, like they used to have KB toy stores and Toys R Us. They start closing their doors because most people weren't buying from them anymore. Disney even closed their store. They used to have the Disney store here in the mall, and the Disney prices were extremely high. And people can basically go online and buy a knockoff version of the Disney toy for way cheaper. And it was like, man, why is the markup so high here for something that's in the United States? And they was like, oh, it's fair trade. Is it fair? No, that's not what you consider better. I love to just see people who are trying to be at their best. No, no, I never see it that way. Um, would I support Donald Trump in what? No, I don't look at Donald Trump as my savior or nothing like that. I just look at what makes sense. If you're going to do a tariff, you do it with one country. You don't do it with the entire world. It looks, one, you look like we're desperate. Well, what normally happens in a situation of that magnitude, if you start looking at, let's say you look at how you pertain in real life to saying this is right. If you start saying this is the narrative you want to go or the angle you wish to, pursue, that's fine. You know, that's fine if you're saying that's what you want to pursue. No, you have to figure out what you're going to do because you got to stock up now. People are buying canned goods now. They're buying everything they can now because of the markup that's coming. People are buying bags of rice, Goya, olive oil, wine. They're buying everything up. The stores are packed because they know what's coming. The stock market is losing money. They're going to Costco's. They're loading up. Costco has found a way to keep it, their numbers down for now. People storing olive oil. They don't want it to ever, get too low. They're buying and stacking up on their cookies, and some people are getting bread or whatever. And when Costco, people like to go there because you get to buy in bulk, like a Sam's Club, right? So I'm like Captain America, baby. You see that? The rock sitting up there with another rock on the other side. Ah! Now, oh yeah. The consumers ought to be, they're going to be the ones to, they're going to be the ones to suffer the consequences. Well, the Senate is going to erupt over the actual tariffs because you got the United States Senator who is Mark Warner, right? Mark Warner is the guy that's going to make those decisions. No, I did not see the China stream. But why would Australia sell the U.S. billions of dollars of beef, but buy billions of dollars of beef back? It's stupid. Australia has never had a case of mad cow's disease or, our biosecurities, keep it that way. The incredible importance is the people's health, and they're not going to, you know, do anything of that, but it's a major selling point for Australian beef, so you just need to understand that this is the game that they're playing. So other people will buy it for those reasons. They will use disease and famine to try to create scarcity, right? But if you pay for tariffs, right, you could bring it in so biosecurity don't fly. It just doesn't make any sense. So the whole Australia thing is it's crazy. So I'm like, what are they gonna do to the what they gonna do to the tariffs? Well, the Democrats are gonna say it's nuclear. This is economic nuclear war because everything's got to be, disaster of any or nothing. This man's trying to kill us. Well, one of Trump's allies, he's not with this process. Bill Ackman, he's a billionaire hedge fund guy. He endorsed Donald Trump's candidacy in 2024. And he said, man, this is apocalyptic terms. This tariff plan that you're implementing is, a little off the walls. Because, see, he's seeing it the way I'm seeing it. You could do irreparable damage to the U.S. economy by doing this. And you're gambling with that. By you putting this in motion, people are not going to want to do business with the United States of America if you're going to try to force them to do business with the United States of America. They're going to look into other avenues to avoid doing business with you. You're going to damage relationships with you. Plus, they're smart. They know the United States does not run under what is a diplomat, even though you're trying to run it as that. They know you got 4 years tops, and then the people get to vote you out of your position. So all they got to do is wait you out 4 years, but they're not going to suffer 4 years and make America suffer they're going to look for a workaround until they try to get people to get you to have you removed from office, impeached, which a court would probably approve. Because now the people that voted for him, they're all losing money. Well, Trump's defending the tariffs because they're his idea. You know, J.P. Morgan CEO, who's Jamie Dimon, says that, the Trump tariffs would boost inflation. It shows that this is already working. And I'm like, where is it showing that? And I look at the charts, and sure enough, y'all got mad at Joe Biden saying the inflation was too high with Joe Biden. And I said, well, let's see if Trump reduces, inflation. And I looked at it, I said, how could Donald Trump make these mistakes? He was supposed to fix everything. You know what they did? They fooled you with trickery because they got the stupid people with the things that they wanted to see. Y'all was caring all about these immigrants coming in. When Trump's getting rid of them, he's draining the swamp. Trump's getting rid of these immigrants. Yeah. So now they're getting rid of the immigrants. Trump is releasing the Epstein files. Yeah, Epstein files. Now, Trump is opening up the files on JFK. Let's go, baby! JFK. You guys went for stuff that doesn't matter. JFK been dead longer than you've been alive. So what do you care about how he died? What does that have to do for the American? What's that gonna do for the American people? That or Epstein's, who's on the Epstein list? They can get Geraldo to do a whole 3-day, 5-day episodes of going through the Epstein list. Who's on the list? Who cares? They're not gonna ever tell you because the people that's supposed to tell you or they want to tell you, hell, they own the list. So why would they tell you that? So Trump is telling everybody to stay patient. Everything's going to work out and everything's going to be okay. Then when it doesn't work, he's going to blame the Democrats. And when that doesn't work, he's going to blame somebody else. And when that doesn't work, you get the point, right? You get where this is going. One nightmare after another. Tariffs don't work. Let me repeat that. Tariffs don't work. Things evolve. Technology evolves. You don't go back to the VCR when you have digital technology. Now that you have digital technology, you have no need Mm-mm. No, you don't need that. Well, Trump said the United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Don't be weak. Don't be stupid. Don't be a panicky or panicking, which is a new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, courageous, and patient. Greatness will be your result. So you'll be great if you can do those things. So if you could be patient, if you could wait, if you could trust this man, you're going to be okay. Greatness is going to be your result. Well, when you start thinking about the Australian beef, so the inflation's going to go up on beef. Meat, dairy, eggs is already over the extreme. And for eggs, you got to make cakes. So the people who are making wedding cakes, anniversary cakes, every day there is an anniversary. Every day there is a wedding. So cakes are sold every day. Now the cakes are fewer and far in between because of the price of eggs. It's hurting small businesses who have bakeries, cookies, everything. Eggs are included. They're very, prominent figure in food administration, and the whole world industry knows how important having food is and having things that really matter in these subjects and time at hand. And when the president of the United States of America doesn't seem to be so concerned with this, just wait till tomorrow. But it's just like yesterday when I told you, okay, if I got $300 in my hand and I go to the casino and I'm down to $20 and I win $200 on when I get down to 20, am I a winner? No, I'm still down 100 some bucks. So, what is the mainstream issue here that I've been trying to tell people all along is that this scenario doesn't fix itself. It doesn't change. You're playing a game that you're not going to win. It's only going to get worse for you. Ooh, man. Damn, that cracked my back right there. I mean, what are you going to do? Most people who have Tesla stocks are pulling out. They're thinking this is not a good idea. I don't blame them. I mean, hell, why would I want to stick around? I'm serious. There's no reason to stick around in most of these scenarios and situations. I mean, I wouldn't see myself sticking around for nobody. Well, join my Patreon. The link is should be in the description box. But I have a Patreon that's Carcino for Life, and I've helped people make a lot of money. So I showed them how to invest, save money, the whole nine. So no. If you look at the punctuality, I'll give you some pointers on the Patreon. I'm gonna tell you directly what it is. But if you look at the main screen, like the main objective, you see it's not really for you. You know, it's always a bunch of people who are, dictating the journey. Yeah, well, men went to the moon and back. People are gonna say, no, we didn't. We didn't go to the moon. Mm. Yep. You said they can't live here. Yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm always tired of playing my video game. I'm tired. So, well, if they come over and decide, like, let's say they come to a resolution, right? Let's say everybody comes to this resolution that this is what's best for the world. Ah, there we go. Got an injury to my shoulder, but tomorrow I get to take care of it when I go in for my. I got an appointment for my massage on my arm. It should be the final, at least, day of my treatment. Well, if you look at just that period, China is responsible for a lot of our seafood. So, we get a lot of seafood brought in. You look at a lot of restaurants that are going to close. You're going to look at a lot of people in Maine that are going to suffer because, all the fishing that they do in Maine, the tariffs are going to hurt them drastically when it comes to all the seafood that they had there. Never played Daisy or Days. I always felt that other people should have been there. I always felt that there should have been other people present in these situations, to help Trump. So somebody is profiting with this, you know. Somebody has shorted some stock somewhere and wanted these tariffs to happen. And they were able to pay money to Trump for this to happen and saying, this is going to save America. It's going to be rough. But in the end, all the money's going to pour in and the stocks are going to shoot up and you're going to be a trillionaire. You say that to Trump, he's all on board. So while someone is losing money in the stock market, other people saw it and knew this was going to happen and knew this was coming. They know how to prepare to move against it. Mm-hmm. But what are they supposed to do? What are people supposed to, basically say in these scenarios and times? I mean, no. There's so many people out here that have no understanding of what life is like outside of the doors or outside of the walls that they live in. So they only concerned about what's affecting them. So the more money you make, the more you're gonna have to spend. And for those who are barely getting by, well, this is gonna look a little different. All the way around the board, it's gonna look different. Mm. No, and at the end of the day, Donald Trump made the bid. He's got a lie in it, So, This could be the worst presidency in the history of mankind. We just have to wait and see what happens. I hope that's not the case because this affects everybody. But see, this affects the people most who voted for him. So now the people like, see what you did? You voted for him. This is what you get. Nobody told you to vote for him, and you voted for him, and look what happened. People just love to say that. The game is cool so far. I still got to learn how to play it. Yeah, well, it's like depending on a sandstorm to save you. So, yeah, you better stock up now on your foods because you're going to be in trouble. I'm going to go play my game before I pass out and go to sleep. But don't forget to go to my Patreon, which is Carcino for Life, so you can get caught up on any updates. Thank you guys who hit the like button and subscribe to this page if you're new here. Appreciate all y'all for coming by. And good night to some, and good morning to most.